The Bible tells us in Joel that God will restore the years that the locust and the cankerworm ate. God will restore to you the years that were taken from you through destruction and through sin and through perhaps things that had nothing to do with your own bad judgment. God will restore the years. So we have a picture of God as a restorer. And that's nice, but I'm going to tell you something that doesn't get me so excited. Because restoration infers that God will bring you back to where you started from. It's almost like God is a God of the status quo. That you lost a house, so God's going to give you back a house. You lost a car, so God's going to bring you back a car. Something happened and you got kicked out of school and God brought you back and he got you to get that degree. Most people, when they read the book of Daniel, and particularly this chapter, they talk about Nebuchadnezzar and how he was arrogant and God drew him away and God brought him back, and then they end the message and that's it. But it's something very powerful that happens. You've got to look at the very, it is actually, because I'm looking here, I want to make sure I get it right. It is chapter 4, verse number 36. It's the second to the last verse of this chapter. Here, it looks like the movie's over because, I mean, look, it ended on a good note. The man who was driven away, God brought him back, and he was king before, and God made him king again, and he was rich before, and God made him rich again, and so it just seems like that's the end of the story. But right as the credits are rolling, and you're gathering your popcorn and the rest of your drink, and you're about to head on out, it's like God flashes or something right else on the screen, and that's what the second to the last verse is, and if you're not careful, you'll miss it. It says that God restored to him, and this is where I want to get to, and it says that more greatness was added to him. This is what excites me. I got to calm down because I don't want to, this is where I get excited. It says that more greatness was added to him. I need you to understand this morning. More greatness was added to him. I really want you to hear this. God is not just a God that's going to give you back what you lost. God is not just a God that's going to put you back at status quo. God is not just a God of restoration. God is a God of expansion. The Bible tells us that I could see if he added more greatness to Moses' life, or maybe if he added more greatness to Joseph's life, somebody who was upright and walked before him. I could see Enoch, who walked with God until he was not, and then God took him up. I could see Elijah, the one who called fire down from the heavens. But here was a man who was a pagan. Here was a man who was a sinner of the sinners. Here was a man who had destroyed Jerusalem and destroyed the temple of God. And the Bible says that God in his mercy and his graciousness and his love not just drove him from his kingdom, not just brought him back, but he added more greatness. What does that mean? Historically, we know that Nebuchadnezzar ruled longer than any ruler in the Babylonian Empire. He ruled for 43 years. We find historically that he spent more of his life after this fall than before. There was more greatness that was added to him. Satan will have you believe that you screwed up so bad that God is never going to bless you. But if he does bless you, he'll just give you back what you lost. If he does bless you, he's going to bless you a little teeny bit. But I want you to understand that is a lie from the pit of hell. This is a man who sinned. This is not somebody whose fall happened through some serendipitous series of events or some events that were out of his control. This was sin. He was a prideful man. He was a man who believed himself to be like God or better than God. He was blasphemous, he was boastful, and he was dismissive of who God is. But yet God in his love, when he came to recognize, he had to recognize who God was. He had to recognize that I'm not it like I thought I was. But when he recognized who God was and the nature of God, God being the good God he is, turned around and said, because you bless me, now I'm going to bless you. Because you recognize me, now I'm going to recognize you. Because you had the audacity to believe in me, now I'm going to give you something that nobody else could give you.